The hum of fluorescent lights filled the empty office. Megan sat hunched over her desk, the harsh white glow of her computer screen reflecting off her tired eyes. It was another late night in the building, and she was, as always, the last one to leave. Her fingers hesitated over the keyboard as she reread the quarterly report she had spent hours revising. She sighed, correcting a misplaced decimal point before saving the document. She leaned back, staring into the cavernous silence of the office. It was eerily still, save for the occasional groan of the air conditioning. Suddenly, her computer flickered. The screen went black, then lit up again, displaying an email draft. Megan frowned. She hadn't touched the keyboard, yet there it was, a blank email with a single line of text. They lied. Get out. Megan blinked, her heart skipping a beat. Her hands hovered over the keyboard, uncertain. She quickly closed the email, chalking it up to a glitch. Still, an uneasiness settled over her. She glanced toward the empty cubicles surrounding her, particularly the one that had belonged to Ryan. Ryan had vanished 6 months ago, leaving behind whispers of conflict with management. Megan shivered and brushed the thought aside. It was late, and she needed sleep. Gathering her things, she ignored the faint hum that seemed to linger in the air and hurried to the elevator. The strange email was the first in a series of unsettling incidents. Over the next week, Megan noticed her computer behaving erratically. It booted up by itself, opened files she hadn't touched, and displayed messages like "Don't trust them," and "It's not safe." One evening, while organizing papers, she heard faint typing sounds coming from Ryan's old cubicle. Her breath caught in her throat. Slowly, she approached, only to find the chair empty. The keyboard lay untouched, but she swore she could still hear the faint clicks. She told herself it was her imagination. Stress, she thought. That was all it could be. But that night, she found a post-it note on her desk. In Ryan's familiar handwriting, it read, "Find the truth." Megan's curiosity and fear began to grow. Who was sending these messages? Was it a prank, or something worse? Her late-night shifts became a covert investigation. She dug through old emails, looking for anything connected to Ryan. She found cryptic references to Project Umbra, a term that meant nothing to her, but seemed to appear frequently in company documents. The deeper she searched, the more suspicious she became, and the hauntings intensified. Shadows flickered on her monitor, and her reflection seemed to move independently in the darkened screen. She saw glimpses of a pale face, Ryan's face. One night, her computer screen displayed an image that froze her blood, a distorted photograph of Ryan, his eyes wide with fear, his mouth open in a silent scream. The next morning, Megan was summoned to her boss's office. The meeting was brief and chilling. "I've noticed you've been spending a lot of late nights here," he said, his tone sharp. "That's admirable, but sometimes curiosity can lead to unfortunate consequences." His words lingered in Megan's mind. That night, Ryan's ghost appeared clearly for the first time. His translucent face filled her screen, his voice fragmented and desperate. "They know. Keep going. Find the file." Her hands trembled, but she couldn't look away. She knew what she had to do. With Ryan's guidance, Megan decided to break into the CEO's office after hours. The plan was reckless, but she felt she had no choice. Navigating the darkened office, she slipped into the CEO's room. She booted up his computer. Ryan's ghost flickered on the monitor, directing her to an encrypted file. As she worked to bypass the encryption, the office seemed to come alive. Filing cabinets slammed shut on their own. Lights flickered wildly. A shadowy figure loomed in the corner, watching her. Finally, she accessed the file. Its contents horrified her. Project Umbra was an illegal experiment designed to erase whistleblowers' memories, leaving their consciousness trapped in a liminal state. Ryan had been one of the victims, used as a test subject after attempting to expose the project. As she copied the files onto a USB drive, the room erupted in chaos. The shadowy figure lunged toward her, and the computer screen flashed violently. Ryan's ghost appeared, shielding her as she fled the office. The next day, Megan stormed into a late-night board meeting, USB drive in hand. She interrupted the CEO mid-sentence, slamming the evidence onto the table. "This ends now," she said, her voice trembling but firm. The CEO smiled coldly. "You think you're the first to try?" His piercing blue eyes glinted, his tone calm, almost amused. Suddenly, the office began to change. The lights flickered and exploded, plunging the room into chaos. The walls groaned as dark cracks spread across them, and ghostly figures materialized. Their forms were fragmented and indistinct, their whispers like the hum of broken machinery. Ryan's ghost appeared again, fully formed, his translucent body glowing faintly as he stared down the CEO. "You did this," Ryan hissed, his voice raw with anger and pain. The room seemed to shake with his fury. The CEO stood unfazed. "Do you think a ghost will scare me? You're just another failed experiment." Ryan lunged at him, his ghostly form merging with the darkness, creating a burst of energy that shattered the glass walls of the office. Megan ducked as shards rained down, the sound deafening. Taking advantage of the chaos, Megan bolted. Clutching the USB drive, she raced through the office, the faint echoes of Ryan's scream chasing her into the night. Weeks later, Megan sat in her small apartment, scrolling through news headlines on her laptop. The files she'd leaked had done their job. The company was in ruins, its executives facing investigations, and the CEO had vanished under mysterious circumstances. But Megan felt no relief. At night, the faint sound of typing still haunted her. Sometimes her screen flickered, and for a split second, she would see Ryan's face, sad, but no longer angry. One evening, as she prepared to shut down her laptop, a message appeared on the screen. "Thank you, Meg, but I'm sorry. This is not over." Megan froze. Her heartbeat quickened as she stared at the words. Before she could react, her laptop screen went black. The room was silent. Slowly, she turned to look at her reflection in the dark window. A faint, shadowy figure stood behind her.